All right, welcome yogi friends. Really happy to be back in this new year teaching Zoom and YouTube yoga. And whether you're joining live or taking this on your own time, blocks will be helpful if you have them. We will start on the back, but before we start on the back, just a moment here in a seat. This week, since we're in a new year, I thought we would focus on the theme of tapas, not to be confused with tapas in Spanish, but in Sanskrit, tapas, the root of the word tap means to burn. And so tapas is part of the second of the 8 limbs of yoga. And we can think about tapas as generating literal internal physical heat, but more than that, generating heat that motivates us in our lives through yogic practices or intentions that we bring off of our mat. And so today, tapas is usually translated as discipline, austerity, or passion with dedication. What I really like about tapas as we come into a new year is that it's different than setting an unrealistic goal or withholding something, changing diet or lifestyle in an extreme way. Rather, tapas invites us to just identify an area where we felt that we've lacked consistency. So I'll invite you to take a moment here to identify some sort of area in your yogic practice, whether that's your physical asana practice, or any other yogic practices in which you engage, meditation, anything else like that. Think about an area where you felt less than consistent in the past year, and then a way that you could maybe gain some consistency. Just take a moment here, identify your own yogic tapas practice, maybe for the coming week, the coming month, or the coming year. As you settle in on that intention, just a reminder that what yoga invites us to do is just practice the same thing again and again, starting anew each time we come to our mats, knowing that it's about the process more than the outcome. So with that yogic tapas intention in mind, take an inhale and bring both palms to heart center. Anjali Mudra, press thumbs to heart, heart to thumbs. Close the eyes and mouth and take a few long, slow breaths. Let that tapas intention settle in from crown of the head all the way to pelvic floor. Good. Throughout your practice today, I invite you to use this tapas intention to build internal heat, to heighten your own desire for personal growth and yoga, and to remind you how and why you love your yoga practice in the first place. When you're ready, open the eyes, keep the breath moving, and we'll begin on the back with 2 blocks if you have them. If you have the blocks, 1 block along the spine, coming just to the top of the shoulder blades, the other block under the head. You can adjust the height of your blocks here. If you want more of a heart opener, make that block under the spine taller. If you want less intensity, make the block under the head taller. And then we'll bring soles of the feet together. Let the knees splay out. Flip the palms up. And relax the arms alongside the body. Take a moment here to settle in. If feet together is uncomfortable on the knees, you can also extend the knees long or take a bend in the knees, planting through the feet. Supta Baddha Konasana. As you settle in, feel the chest lift slightly to the sky. Come back to that tapas intention. Close down the eyes. And just breathe here, beginning to lengthen the breath. On the inhales, pulling the air all the way toward the belly. And on the exhales, pushing all the air up and out. Breathing through the nose. This is the first step in awakening that inner heat, that tapas. When you feel ready, lightly constrict the back of the throat. Start to cultivate your ujjayi breath. you're newer to Ujjayi, the mouth is closed down, breathing through the nose, but almost that sensation of fogging up a mirror with your breath. A couple rounds of breath this way. Find a pace of breath you can maintain when we begin to move. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. Good. 2 more deep breath cycles here. Deepest breaths of your day. And then use the hands, draw the legs together, plant the feet, and lift up just enough to slide those blocks out from underneath. We'll release down to the back, keeping feet planted about hips distance apart. Setting up for rolling bridges here, arms alongside the body, palms down. Next, inhale, lift the hips, press through the hands and feet. Exhale, lower the hips, reach the arms up and overhead. On the breath, inhale, hips lift, arms alongside the body. Exhale, hips lower, arms reach. Inhale, hips lift, arms lower. Exhale, hips lower, arms reach, and continue on your breath. Making our first vinyasa here. Let your breath guide your movement. Good. Keep pressing all 10 toes to the mat. And breathe. And the next time your hips lift up, hold here. Option to slide one of your blocks under the sacrum to make this more restorative, or hold yourself up with the legs and glutes. A couple breaths in full bridge, set to Uttanasana. Chin stays relaxed, let the chest lift to the chin. Take one more deep inhale. And on the exhale, lower, slide the blocks aside. And begin to rock and roll along the spine, hands behind the thighs. Take 4 or 5 rounds this way before moving all the way into tabletop pose. Eventually coming to hands and knees. Always the option for some support under the knees here if you like, either with a blanket or rolling the mat up. And we'll stack shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Spread the fingers wide. Imagine someone pressing your palms down. And then find full body engagement here. Lift up behind the navel, knit the rib cage in. Take an inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest. Marjariasana. Exhale, tuck and round. Tilasana. Moving through cow-cats on your breath. Just undulating through the spine here. Good, maybe starting to feel some of that internal heat through your Ujjayi breath. And when you finish your next exhale, meet me in neutral tabletop, gaze between the thumbs. Good, from here, deep inhale, send the right leg back. Option to reach the left arm forward, challenging balance. Either way, spread your right toes, press the right foot back in space. Holding here, building heat, lift up behind the navel. Make sure you're not holding the breath. Take one more inhale. Exhale to tabletop, reset. And we'll take that on the second side. Next inhale, send the left leg back. Option to reach right arm forward. Spread the left toes, send the left foot back in space. Good, gaze stays low here, back if the neck is long. And breathe. Deep inhale here. Exhale to tabletop. Send your knees wide, big toes touch, and press your hips back. Wide-legged balasana, child's pose. Forehead comes to the mat or a block. And then tent up on your fingertips here. Walk your fingertips forward as you press the sits bones back toward the heels. Come back to your top last intention if you set one. Just notice. Throughout our practice today, feel welcome to come here, tabletop, or any other resting shape as you need. And we'll move through a vinyasa, moving through child's pose, tabletop, and down dog. Plant through the palms. Take an inhale, press up to hands and knees, tuck your toes. Exhale, hips back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, come to hands and knees. Exhale, hips back, child's pose. Inhale through tabletop, press the palms down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale forward, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose, and continue on your breath. Start to build a bit more heat. Whole body is active here as you move. Face and mind are soft. Good. This is a great variation for those who take Vinyasa flow classes, but want a little less intensity on the joints. You can always take this as a flow as well. The next time you find downward facing dog, we'll hold there. Adho Mukha Svanasana. When you find your down dog, adjust your feet, maybe bringing them slightly closer together. And then press through the palms, fingers spread wide. Let the back of the neck fully relax. Option to pedal through the heels here, bending one knee and then the other, as you start to awaken the backs of the legs. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then find some stillness in your down dog. Find that balance of effort and ease. Sthira and Sukha. Next, inhale, roll forward to plank. Lower your knees. And then cross one ankle on top of the other. So knees are behind the hips here. We'll work on our yoga push-ups with knees down, lowering only so far that your breath stays deep. Take an inhale, press through the palms. Exhale, lower any amount, elbows to rib cage. Inhale, press back up, hands and knees. Exhale, lower any amount. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower. Good. Last time. Inhale, rise up. Uncross the feet. Tuck your toes. Send the hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. 2 deep Ujjayi breaths here. Remembering you can always lower the knees instead. And without lifting the leg up and back, take an inhale, step the right foot through, lower your left knee, and find your blocks, bringing your blocks under your palms. Take a moment to bring that front foot forward, knee over ankle. Your blocks can be at any height so that you can plant your palms firmly here. Good, we'll find some movement on the breath. Inhale, chest forward and up. Exhale, straighten the front leg and fold. Inhale, low lunge, keep the palms planted. Exhale, half splits, folding forward. Once more, inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold, and we'll hold right here. Flex your right toes a lot, and then let the back of the neck release. You can keep your hands on blocks, or you can try challenging balance, reaching the arms back like wings, squeezing shoulder blades together. Anahatasana, beautiful. And breathe. Next, inhale, plant the palms back to low lunge, and then step it back to downward facing dog. Hands can stay on blocks, or you can slide them aside. From down dog, inhale forward to plank, lower the knees. Exhale, lower chest and chin, elbows to ribs. Inhale, slide forward, hover palms and knees. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Deep ujjayi breath here, smooth it out. And without lifting the leg up and back, take an inhale, step the left foot through, lower the right knee. Find your blocks under the palms once more. This time, walk your left foot forward, knee over ankle. And then plant firmly through your palms, start to lengthen through the spine. We'll find that movement on the breath. Deep inhale here. Exhale, straighten the front leg, fold. Inhale, rise up, Untitled. Exhale, fold, half split. Once more, inhale to rise. Exhale, fold, and hold here, flexing all your left toes. Once more, option to try reaching arms back like wings, squeezing shoulder blades together. Anahatasana, Lord of the Monkey Pose. And breathe. Each inhale, crown of the head reaching toward the toes. Next, inhale, bend the front knee, plant the palms, and step it back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale, gaze forward, come on the toes, and start to slowly tiptoe toward the hands. Keep the palms planted as long as you can. And eventually meet me at the top of the mat in a forward fold. Uttanasana. Good. Two options for the feet. Big toes together, heels apart, or you can bring the feet wider apart. And then let the head and shoulders hang heavy. Catch the opposite elbows with the palms and start to sway gently left and right. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose. As you breathe, start to draw the weight forward toward the toes. Feel the hips stack over knees and ankles. And then find some stillness in your forward fold. Take an inhale, half lift, release the elbows. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, let the head and shoulders hang heavy. And with your next inhale, slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Press down through the feet. And meet me standing tall. Meeting in Tadasana, mountain pose. Once more, ground down through the feet. Gaze is straight forward and soft. And then engage the whole body here. Fingers reaching down, tailbone tucking under, kneecaps lifting up. Preparing for classical Surya Namaskar, sun salutes, with extra breaths in the lunges. And you're always welcome to use your blocks during our sun salutes under the hands. Inhale, palms to heart center. Exhale, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, reach arms forward and up. Exhale, forward and fold. Right foot steps back. Inhale, lower right knee. And we'll hold here You can use your hand to slide that left foot forward, knee over ankle. Good, find your nice alignment. Another inhale, lengthen the spine up. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank, option to lower knees. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin, elbows to ribs. Inhale, slide to the belly, hover palms and knees. Exhale, press back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Left foot steps forward. Inhale, back to low lunge. Extra breaths here, front knee over ankle, and then lift the chest and gaze. Deep inhale here. Exhale, step to the top and fold. Inhale, reach arms forward and up. Exhale, heart center, second side. Inhale to rise. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back. Inhale, lower left knee. And then slide that front foot forward, knee over ankle. Lift the chest and gaze. Deep inhale here. Exhale, press back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, forward to plank, Phalakasana. Exhale, knees, chest, chin, Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, slide forward, Bhujangasana. Exhale, back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Right foot steps forward. Inhale, back to low lunge. Extra breaths here, front knee over ankle. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step up and fold. Inhale to rise, hips forward. Exhale, heart center, and release the arms. Back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Nicely done. Ground down through the feet, spread the toes wide, and then close the eyes or soften the gaze. Start to rock the weight forward to the toes, back to the heels. Find your center. Rock to the right, to the left. Find your center. 3 deep Ujjayi breaths here. Come back to that tapas intention. Maybe feeling some physical internal heat, or maybe feeling that internal passion or dedication to your practice. And then open the eyes, adding on from the top of the mat. Inhale, arms out and up, palms touch. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. 2 Ujjayi breaths here. Find your longest shape. We want the same distance between hands and feet in down dog as we have for plank pose when we roll forward. Next, inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, step it through, lower the back knee, low lunge. Front knee over ankle, and then when you're ready, rise up, hands to the front thigh. You can stay right here or reach the arms up and overhead. If you reach the arms up, draw the shoulders back and down. And then either way, energetically draw your inner thighs together. If the arms are lifted, option to lift the gaze, bring palms together for a slight back bend. Good, Anjaneyasana. One more inhale here. Exhale, plant the left palm, send the right arm high for a twist. Stacking right shoulder over left. You can stay right here or pop up on the back toes, left leg becoming straight and strong. If balance is a challenge, keep your gaze low, or you can start to work your gaze toward the right thumb. Parivritta Parshvakonasana. One more option to wrap the right arm behind the back, fingers towards your left hip. Make sure you're not holding your breath as you twist. Next, inhale, reach the right arm high. Exhale, plant the hands, and then step it back, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. From down dog, take a deep bend in the knees and start to walk the hands back toward the feet for a forward fold at the back of the mat. Ground down through the feet, and then either hands to hips or interlace your hands behind the back. If that's accessible, start to work the heels of your hands together, and either way, draw the weight toward the toes. Explore your exhales to pull the belly up under the lower ribs, creating more space to fold forward. And breathe. Next, inhale, half lift. Exhale, release the arms, fold forward, and bear crawl your hands back to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Next, inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, step through for low lunge. Lower your right knee. When you're ready, with an inhale, rise up, hands to the front thigh. You can stay right here or reach the arms up and overhead. Torso is tall, shoulders stacked over hips. Really press through that front big toe mound. And then if you went deeper on the first side, option to lift the gaze up, bring palms together for a slight back bend. Make sure you're lifting the weight up and out of the lower back. And breathe. One more inhale here. Exhale, plant the right palm, send the left arm high for a twist. Parivritta Parshvakonasana, left shoulder stacked over right. And then stay right here or lift the back knee, straightening through that right leg. Maybe gaze turns all the way up to the left thumb. Each inhale, crown of the head reaches forward in space. Option to try for the wrap. Left arm behind the back, fingers toward the outer right hip. Next, inhale, send the left arm high. Exhale, plant both palms, step it back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. From down dog, take an inhale, roll forward to plank, lower the knees, and then with all 10 toes tucked, keep your hips over your knees. Moving to Shashankasana, rabbit pose. Start to tuck your chin to your chest, bring the crown of your head, or maybe the back of your head, all the way down to the mat. You can start with palms planted on either side, just in front of your knees. When your chin is tucked as much as you can, reach your hands back, either behind your thighs or all the way for the feet. And breathe. So you're nice and tucked in here in your little rabbit shape. It's a nice space to shut down the eyes. Come back to that Tadasana tension. Good, one more breath cycle here. With your next inhale, walk the hands forward. Come to tabletop pose. Keep your knees and feet as they are, hips over knees, toes tucked. Begin to walk the hands forward Coming into Anahatasana, melting heart. Arms and palms stay shoulder distance apart here. Maybe forehead comes down to the block or mat. If you have the space, you can try bringing chest and chin to the mat. And then keep rolling the shoulders back and down. If chin comes to the mat, shift your gaze forward and breathe. Next, inhale, walk your hands back in, tabletop, and then send the hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Next, inhale, gaze forward, and step all the way to the top of the mat, meeting in a forward fold. Take an inhale, half lift, fingers to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms out and up, palms touch. Exhale, release the arms and bring hands to the hips. Plant down through the right foot and take a big step back with the left foot, coming to face the long edge of your mat. Turn big toes slightly in so that outer edges of the feet are parallel. Hands can stay on hips, or you can interlace hands behind the back if that's accessible. Pulling fists down between the buttocks. Setting up for a fold here, deep inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, hinge forward and fold. Either hands releasing to blocks or the mat, or pulling fists up and overhead. You can adjust the distance between your feet here as you need. And then start to draw the weight forward to the toes. Challenge your balance here. Maybe gaze turns all the way up between the legs. Good. Prasarita Uttanasana C. If palms are together, see if you can straighten through the arms, lifting hands up and away from the lower back. One more inhale here. Exhale, release the hands to the mat. And then plant the right palm under the face, right on the long edge of your mat. Bring the left hand to the left hip. Take an inhale, press the floor away. Exhale, twist up and open to the left. Pull that left shoulder back. And then send your left arm high, stacking left shoulder over right. Pressing equally through right palm and both feet. Stay here or wrap the left arm behind the back. Prasarita twist. Good. Use the exhales to contract the belly. Find your edge. Next, inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, replace right palm with left and bring the right hand to the right hip. Take an inhale, press the floor away. Exhale, twist up and open to the right. Pull your right shoulder back and then send the right arm high. Maybe gaze turns up toward the thumb. Stay here or wrap the right arm behind the back. And breathe. Next, inhale, lift the right arm up. Exhale, release. Bend the knees. Bring both hands to the hips. And with an inhale, roll all the way up. Exhale, turn your toes out, heels in. Maybe take a slightly shorter stance here, setting up for goddess pose. Press down through both feet. With an inhale, reach the arms out and up, star pose. Exhale, bend knees and elbows, prana mudra. Find Utthana Konasana. Elbows lifting to shoulder height if you can, and then squeeze the shoulder blades together. Imagine someone pressing both palms back in space. Notice if the knees want to roll in. Make sure you can see the inner edges of your feet inside your knees. Good, and then tuck the tailbone under. Option to try lifting one or both heels, maybe swaying left and right. Gaze is straight forward and soft. If you found movement, come back through center, replant through both heels. And next, inhale, stand all the way up, star pose. Exhale, hands to hips. Heel toe your feet together and step to the top of the mat. We'll take one more sun salute, slow and steady on the breath. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to plank, send the hips back, downward facing dog. Our last down dog here, holding for about 5 breaths, where you can find tabletop instead. If you're in down dog, fully relax the back of the neck. Run the tongue between the lips and the teeth. And send your heels energetically toward the mat. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, lower to the knees, send the legs to one side, and come all the way to a seat. We'll bring the soles of the feet together. Option for your blocks here to make this more restorative, sliding blocks outside the outer thighs. And either way, find a nice tall seat, hands to soles of the feet. And start to work your heels as close as you comfortably can toward the body. You can use the thumbs to turn the soles of the feet up. Notice how that pulls the hips closer to the earth. And breathe. Baddha Konasana, bound angle. Deep inhale here. On the exhale, hinge forward, draw the elbows toward the ribs, and fold. Let the back of the neck release. If the elbows make contact with the inner thighs, you can use that to push the hips down, just taking care never to push on the knees. Let the knees follow the hips. And then notice if the front of the shoulders want to collapse toward the mat, pull the shoulders back and down, lift them up and away from the floor. Lots of space between ears and tops of shoulders. Next, inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold once more. 2 breaths here. And with an inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, release. Use the hands, bring the legs together, and then send both legs long. If you like to use a blanket, just make sure it's only under the back inch or so of the sits bones, or you can use the hands to pull the flesh out from underneath. Find your nice tall seat, and then bend the right knee, right sole of the foot to the inner left thigh. If you have half lotus, option to draw that right heel toward the left hip crease. Either way, ground down through the left foot. Take an inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Exhale, reach forward and fold. Hands can release anywhere along the mat, leg, or foot. If you're using the hands to pull yourself forward, keep drawing shoulders down and back away from the ears. Janu Shashankasana, head to knee pose. If you have the half lotus legs, Ardha Padmasana, actively draw that right outer leg toward the mat. And then you can stay here for a deeper twist. Bring both hands outside your left leg. Place your right palm on top of your left hand. Draw your right armpit toward the mat. Few breaths in your variation. Keep those left toes nice and flexed, pointing toward the face. And next, inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, release. Send the right leg long. Shake out the legs. And we'll take that on the second side. Find your nice tall seat, shoulders over hips. This time, bend the left knee, left sole of the foot to the inner right thigh. Or if you have Anahatasana, heel toward the hip crease. Ground down through the right leg. Take an inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, reach forward and fold. Visualize creating space between the vertebrae with each inhale, drawing crown of the head toward your right toes. Couple breaths here before going deeper. Jhana is your Shashankasana. And then stay right here, or if you did so on the first side, walk both hands outside your right leg, place the left palm on top of your right hand, and then pull the left armpit toward the mat. And breathe. Next, inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, release the arms, send the left leg long, shake it out. And then if you have a blanket underneath, slide it aside and make your way all the way to the back. You can slide your blocks aside as well. When you come to the back, plant your feet, bring them to the outer edges of the mat, and just let both knees rest against one another. Bring one hand to heart, one hand to belly. Close the eyes if that feels okay. Take a few deep breaths here. Come back to your tapas intention. Just notice what feels different through the cultivation of heat and focus in your practice. When I think of the tapas practice in yoga, I often think of one of my favorite, most simple quotes by E.E. Cummings, who wrote, "It takes courage to grow up and become who you really are." Through our cultivation of an inner tapas practice, that sense of inner discipline, inner focus, we're part of that process of becoming who we really are. One more breath cycle here. And with your next inhale, draw the knees to the chest. Start to take any intuitive rocking motions, rocking left and right, up and down, gently massaging the lower back. As you move, start to lengthen your breath, allowing an active pause after each inhale and after each exhale. And then find some stillness. Draw the knees to the chest. Next inhale, lift forehead to knees, knees to forehead. Uttanasana. Shoulders and upper back off the mat. Chin to the chest. Point your toes. Good, core is active here. And breathe. Wind releasing pose. Take one more inhale. Exhale, release. Plant the feet hips distance apart. And we'll come back to our bridge pose, maybe going a bit deeper than the beginning of practice. If you'd like to make this restorative while we hold, you can grab one of your blocks. And either way, slightly pigeon toe your feet here, stacking knees over ankles, arms alongside the body. When you're ready, take an inhale, lift the hips up, press the floor away, and then walk your shoulder blades closer together under the back. If you're using a block at any height, slide it under the sacrum, or hold yourself up by squeezing the glutes together, engaging the legs. Option to interlace hands behind the back, pulling fists toward heels, and breathe. We're striving to get our hips to knee height. That might not happen today. That's okay. With each inhale, chest lifts to the sky as the chin stays relaxed. Couple more Ujjayi breaths in your variation. If the toes lifted up, ground them down. And take one more deep inhale. With the exhale, slowly lower down. Once more, let the knees rest against one another. Couple rounds of breath and constructive rest here. Neutral spine. And with your next inhale, draw the knees to the chest. This time, send your arms wide in a T. Flip your palms down. We're setting up for a spinal twist. Option to cross left leg on top of right before we twist for eagle legs, or you can just leave the legs together. Either way, deep inhale, draw the knees toward the chest. Exhale, knees up and over to the right. Shift your gaze to the left. More important that both shoulder blades stay on the mat than trying to get your knees to touch the ground. You can also slide a prop under or between the knees here. And then settle in. Jathara Parivartanasana. Recline spinal twist. Start to draw your mental focus, what we call dharana in Sanskrit, back to the breath. Beginning to let go of that focus on outer postures as you start to go inward. With your next inhale, draw the knees to the chest, roll to the back, and uncross your legs if they're crossed. We'll take that on the second side. This time, option to cross right leg over left, Garudasana legs before we twist. Keep the palms down here. Deep inhale, knees to the chest. Exhale, knees up and over to the left. And then shift your gaze to the right. Both shoulder blades stay relaxed to the mat. Maybe closing down the eyes all together here as you continue to draw inward. And breathe. One more full breath cycle here. And next inhale, draw the knees in, roll to the back, unwind, and begin to move toward your Shavasana shape. If you need any last movements or postures, you're welcome to take that here. The next few rounds of breath, we're making our way fully to the back. Option to use any props you like here as you find your most comfortable resting shape. If you're feeling any lower back fatigue from our work with back bends, it can feel nice to slide a prop underneath the knees Giving some support to the lower back. If you're needing a little extra weight, you can place a prop on top of the hips to help with that grounding down sensation. Wherever you're at, continue to lengthen your breath. Slight pause after each inhale. Slight pause after each exhale. If you're finding movement still, balance out the sides. Wrap up any counter pose you need. And begin to make your way to the back body if you haven't already. If you're taking traditional Shavasana with legs extended long, you can explore the distance between the legs, find that sweet spot where the hips and pelvic floor can most fully relax. And then once more, gently let the mind's eye return to that tapas practice you set. One of the beautiful things about a tapas practice is that if we find ourselves struggling in it, we miss a day, we fall short of an expectation we had, tapas simply invites us to begin again the next day. Never-ending possibility to cultivate that sense of inner heat, inner dedication, burning enthusiasm. At the bottom of your next exhale, let your Ujjayi breath go. Turn off all mental focus on postures and breath control. Knowing you've put in that effort, all that's left is to hold this shape of integration for your practice. Coming into Shavasana like we come to sleep at the end of the day. Let the eyes release into the sockets. Keep the mouth closed, but let the breath become soft and shallow. I'll chant us into Shavasana with one round of Om, the universal sound of nature. As I chant, disconnect more and more from physical sensations around you. As you come to rest in quiet and stillness. Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Harihi Om Akanda Mandala Karam Vyaptamena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Aum. As you feel ready, begin to deepen the breath. Once more, drawing air all the way toward the belly and up and out through the nose. In your own time, begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Gently roll the neck back and forth, up and down. Always welcome to stay in relative stillness. When you're ready for more movement, reach the arms overhead. Find a full body stretch. And if it feels okay on the knees, eventually drawing both knees to the chest, rolling to the right side body, allowing a few generous breaths in this in-between shape. When you feel ready to rise, eyes closed or gaze soft, press yourself to a comfortable seat, and we'll meet as we begin our practice, sitting tall. So you find your seat grounding down equally through left and right sides of the body. Visualize the crown of the head lengthening up toward the sky. Roll the shoulders back and down. And with an inhale, bring palms to heart center. Press thumbs to heart, heart to thumbs. Once more, call back that tapas intention you set, knowing you'll carry that with you when you leave your mat. It's about the process over the outcome. The light within me honors and respects the light within each of you. Thank you. Mil gracias. Namaste. So glad to be back for a third year of donation-based yoga. Whether you join live or taking this later, really glad to have you in practice and hope to practice with you again soon.